everybody knows this. The largest population, not just in Kenya, but in Africa, is made up of youth. Youth from 0 to 19 or even 18 to 34.
Yes.
They make up 3/4 of the population. And a lot of youth are always complaining, oh, when are we going to get active? When are we going to get involved? When is our turn? So what are you doing about it is the question we're asking. Well, Tanari Trust is doing something about it. They've been around now for almost 20 years, since 2001. And they are literally empowering the youth around the country. We're talking 10,000 youth every year. Very important. If you're a young person listening in, this is your moment, folks, because you're always wondering, what do we do? What can I do? What life skills should I learn and be involved in? Well, joining us live right now on the radio, Timothy Matheka is the executive officer at Tanari Trust, and alongside him is Lorraine Wangare. She's research and development assistant also at Tanari Trust. Folks, welcome to Hot 96. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jeff.
Yeah, good to talk to you guys, and great work you're doing. Timothy, you guys have been around for nearly 20 years.
Yeah, man. 20 years. We're celebrating 20 years next year.
Wow.
To be precise, by the 3rd of September, it's like we're turning 19 in the next 2 days.
Look at that. So you're in your last year of teens.
Exactly.
All right. If someone out there has never heard of Tanari Trust, Timothy, tell us, what is Tanari Trust?
Tanari Trust is a Christian youth-based organization. Our mission, our vision is empowered youth transforming communities, and our mission is practically to empower youth to be God-fearing community transformers through creative programming. So our major areas is we do training, and also we impart youth through our programs. We have 4 major programs that we do. One is called ROPES, it's a transitional-based program. And the second one is called CPR, which is creating positive relationships. It's a sexuality program. And then thirdly, we also do camp-based programs, that is outdoor adventure-based learning, which we have a campsite in Sagana, on your way to Sagana, just next to Kenjan. It is practically Makuyu, called Camp Malta. And then lastly, we do life skills. In other words, we tailor-made programs for young people depending on the given age sets that you're dealing with. So those are the major areas that we do, but more or less also we have an arm which we do consultancy of trying to train organizations, small SMEs to aspects of organizational development. And that is what we do in a nutshell of the activities that we do. But more or less we are, as I said, Christian youth-based organization. So we are formed by 5 churches, and our mandate is practically to impact youth for life.
All right, Lorraine, how does one get involved? You go through your church, like Timothy just said, or how does one who's listening right now says, hey, I'd like to come for the next session? How do they do that?
Okay, there are several ways to get involved. There's one, you can volunteer. If you're probably a young person who's in your university years, you could volunteer your time and your skills to be able to empower the youth. And if you're passionate about it, you could volunteer your time. So we train you and we get you equipped in our program so that you can be able to run them. The other way you can get involved is as a church, a school, or an institution or organization. You can train your youth workers or youth ministers to be able to run our programs. So we train in our transition program ROPES, and we train also in our CPR program. Another way you can get involved is through our team building project. We use our team building project to be able to fund our different programs. So it acts as an aid to our programs. Yeah.
You know, Timothy, these are very tough times, COVID times. You know this as well as we do, and people are going through hell, for lack of a better word. How do you give young people hope in these times of COVID? They've lost their jobs, they can't pay rent, they can't even go out. You know, people are fast losing hope, Timothy. How do you give young people hope?
Yeah. The first thing which I want to share is very true, Jeff, and the biggest thing which we've been dealing with even for us as an organization is something which I'm getting a lot of feedback about: mental health. And mental health, looking at it from the point of having a state of mind that you can able to go through these tough times. And the major thing which I can say is the motivation which I can have for them is that there are opportunities there, but the networking for them is this. And I'm a strong believer on abundance thinking. In other words, not scarcity, but abundance thinking. And abundance thinking means that there's so many opportunities out there, we just need to go out and grab them. And I know it can look like a far-fetched just saying it out loud, but there are things which I've noticed, and we are trying to encourage young people, especially looking at what are the things in their given community or social environment that they can be able to engage in, so that they can be able to have a good state of mind, but also at the other juncture they are learning and also they are getting something out of it. So my motivation is that what are those things which are out there, and what are the things which we can start doing like now? Our COVID-19 has protocols have brought a lot of issues. No contact, no engagement. So what is happening now, we have to look at opportunities for them to look at how do we engage with opportunities now. And the things is that we know one thing is, like I've noticed a lot of things these days things are done by delivery. You don't see face-to-face engagement. So those are ways of how they can start to. So what the big thing I can say is that what are the opportunities which are now, because even in hard times there are opportunities, and how can they grab onto them? So my encouragement is that, but more or less also we usually like to use the positive youth development theorem and tell them they're not a deficit. It's not, don't look at it as a problem, but an opportunity of positivity. Something good is coming up. And that is the thing which I can say for now for encouraging the youth.
Lorraine, let's face it, also during COVID, there are a lot of young women who are getting impregnated. You've seen in the news, and it's very disturbing, the amount. And I know you guys teach a course on sexuality, but my goodness, it is scary. In 9 months' time, there's going to be a crazy boom by very, very young women.
Yeah, very true. There is, we teach a course on sexuality, and as we talk about abstinence, because we are approaching it from the faith perspective. And we encourage young people to abstain. We tell them that the right time is when they are married. The right time to have sex is when they are married. And apart from sex, we are building on other things that influence how they view sex. For example, we talk about peer pressure, we talk about goal setting, we talk about drugs and substance abuse, because in the midst of all these things, that is where you find sexually active people. In the midst of drunkenness, you'll find someone engaging in sexual activity, and then they say, oops, it was a one-night stand. So we try and engage different
Having a little bit of issues there with our networking, but it's okay. We basically heard more of it. But Timothy,
we try and engage the different.
Yes,
Timothy, I heard you nodding throughout. Obviously, you agreed. I mean, there is a problem, obviously, and the problem needs some solutions.
Yes, it is. I think the shocker was that when we had those statistics in Machakos County, and even people were going to the rate of going down to per day, what it meant per day for all those girls getting pregnant. The biggest thing for us is this juncture. I think the key thing, the most important thing is that we need to get, especially for, let me start with the first of all, the ones who are older. We need to stand into this gap and try to mentor our kids and our young girls well. That is one, because the key thing is that what is happening now, I grew up in the sense I think maybe Jeff, maybe you can say, Hamo can look at it, is that, those days when you used to grow up, you are here to be seen but not to be heard.
Oh yes.
Just be seen and move along.
Yes.
And I think we need to move from there to the point of how do we engage these young people to talk to them about sex, because we grew up with the sex, so talking about sex is a taboo. But reality, we need to engage with these young people, and let's talk about this thing which we are all avoiding and letting media and all the other ventures to come in, but let's come to the point of reality and engaging them. That is one. Two, also the same thing is that let us be real. I think that is something which I've learned a lot of years. Let us be real with these young people. When you're going to, as Lorena said about goal setting, and there's certain other aspects except from just sex which you'll be engaged with, which will affect you in your life. There's the physical, there's the emotional, there's the mental, there's the social. There's so many perspectives of it which will affect you. You'll get a baby, you'll have to get out of school for some time. That will affect you. You have to provide for the kids. That means food and shelter. There's so many things which come into play, and we need to talk to them and tell them from the real perspective so that they can see what is this thing which is, if I engage in this, these are the consequences, or these are the things. And lastly, is that we need to give out the right message. As Jeff has said, that we are the biggest population, but more or less is that even the medium of information that we have, it's social media, even now as doing Zoom, is that this is the biggest media people are engaging with. But we are not in this space, we're not giving them this information, but we cry a lot thereafter, but we need to engage. The biggest thing is that we need to engage and engage and engage them. Let's create forums, let's create opportunities, let's create spaces where we can engage them and talk to them and talking from them from a point of vulnerability and being practical and real. That is something very important.
Let's also face it, guys, the world has changed. Parents don't raise their children the way we were raised for some reason or not, because people are busy, life is going on, the kids are on social media, they're not listening to you, they're busy on their phones. Lorraine, are they listening, these young people, when you talk to them? Are they listening? Are they looking for someone to listen to their grievances and their queries?
Oh yes, they do listen, and they actually want someone who would engage with them, listen to them and engage with them, hear their voice, so that when you tell them that something is wrong, hear first before you say that something is wrong. Hear first what they think about that thing, then approach it from how they are thinking, bringing out the right perspective. So it's very important that we listen to these young people instead of pushing them aside and saying they're a problem. They are not a problem. They will become a problem if we do not do anything about it. So we need to listen to them. Yes.
Absolutely. Obviously, there are lots of people listening to you right now. Timothy, give us some social media handles, how people can get in touch. If it's not through the church, how do they get in touch on social media?
Social media, you can on Twitter is @Tanari Trust. You can get us at Tanari Trust. On Facebook, the same, @Tanari Trust. And on IG, the same thing, on @Tanari Trust. And also on TikTok and Snapchat, we are @Tanari Trust 1 and @Tanari Trust. So those are the social media handles that you can get in touch with us. Our website is tanaritrust.org. Those are the social media and also website URLs that you can get in touch with us.
Wow. What's the ultimate goal, Timothy? What's the ultimate goal?
The ultimate goal for us is to create a critical youth multipliers who can transform their communities. In other words, we want to create, train, engage with young people who in turn will multiply and train other young people for the goodness and for the transformation of their communities. And when I was saying about the PYD theorem, is that we have 5 C's that we look at too. We want to build young people who have good character, good confidence, good connection, which is about relationships, good compassion, that is care, and then lastly, they need to be having a sense of good contribution, good citizenry. And those are the 5 C's that we look at, and we're trying to engage our young people so that they can have this. And we are looking at what we do in Tanari is practically, we want young people to come in, we train, but in turn they be able to go back in their communities and transform their communities for good. That is the ultimate goal that we have as Tanari Trust.
Lorraine, are there times where you feel dejected, or you feel, oh my God, I can't do this? You wake up in the morning, I can't do this. This is too much for me. Are there times like that?
Yeah, well, not really for me. I think I am very passionate about this. And no matter what the frustrations are, I think I keep at it. And that is what helps me. Just remaining focused and just deciding that I need to do this, that I need to see another youth transformed today. So I will wake up and do it despite my frustrations.
How about you, Timothy? Are you hopeful for the future?
I'm totally hopeful, Jeff. I'm totally hopeful. I think the key thing is that when you said earlier, youth are the biggest population of this country and even African continent. And the key thing is that to just tag along the question which you had asked Lorraine earlier, is that as you can see, it's 10,000. 10,000 out of 30, we are 75% of our population is youth. 10,000 is practically what 0.00 something percent of the total young people in our country. The key thing is that we encourage that a step at a time, because when you transform one person, the multiplication effect or the multiplier model makes it so easy, because when you touch one person, another person touch another person, and they have forums and they have opportunities, they can reach out to young people as much as they can. So I'm really, really hopeful that if we intentionally engage our youth and align them to the right path and give them that space, give them participation opportunities, that will really, really help them to change the community and even the world.
Yeah, but let's face it, guys. The youth of today, they don't even speak the same language as we do. You know, you hear them saying, "Hey, bazenga, hey, bazoo, bazoos." I don't know.
Mayeng.
Iyo.
Gezi kwanza Jeff ameshika, ameiva mbaya.
How do you?
Ameiva kabisa hapo, ameiva. Inaonekana ameanza ku notice. Jeff, you're getting younger.
Excuse me, ni big man bazoo.
Big man.
Jeff, the biggest thing is that you need to get to understand this language. That's what we do. Even for me, as in when I hear a song drops out, it's coming out and it has crazy views, you have to get to understand what is this language that they're getting into, because that's what you have to engage with them on the ground. You don't understand how they communicate, you're not able to go and reach out to them. So it's important. It's important. Hata hamo that's why anacheka hapo, because hajaongea sana, amesikia tunaongea kizungu sana.
Nangojea mmalizane.
Ni aje wase.
Anachangamuke.
Leo si Tuesday, leo ni tetemesha Tuesday, 1 September.
Unajua bazoo. Kuna kitu hapa important sana. Watu najua Jeff ako frustrated na kitu moja. Kuna siku tulipigiwa simu hapa, watu wamefocus sana na the intellect, kitu ati IQ ndio tunashughulikia, na hiyo ndio wanamesha nayo success, but kuna vitu zingine important kama hard work, perseverance nini. Do you see that gap kila saa mkimitu watu hii?
Hiyo gap iko because hata the biggest thing is, kwanza wacha niseme tu hivi, wacheki kuna hiyo IQ lakini kuna EQ pia.
Oh yes.
Kuna emotional conscience. And the biggest thing sasa hivi kuko maboya hata madem ama youth wote hapa hivi country yetu yote, ni kwa the most important thing ni kwa hiyo kitu, ni kwa tunafaa ku understand. Yes, kuna ile, as people say, they're book smart, they're street smart, the people who are street smart. The key thing is that all these opportunities are there for these young people. I think for us who grew up ilikuwa so many vijana.
Oh yes.
Mwisho wa kusoma mtapata kazi nzuri sana.
Wapi? Mulisikia wapi?
Ngoma tunasikiza asubuhi, kwanza radio kanaamka hivi, unafungua unataka kwenda chuo hapo, na kwa ngoma kanaimba chuo. So the things are changing now, because the key thing is that young people are seeing opportunities either online or from the point of skill sets which they're able to share on their pages, their IG handles, and they say, I can do this, I can sell this. And these are the opportune times that you're able to nurture those talents, because the key thing is that we need their skills and talents which are out there, which are not tapped. And that's very important. For us, we encourage and we look at it from that. That's why we usually want to take them through the process of understanding, because you go through the process of understanding. Yes, there is the IQ, yes. Bookworm, very important, go to school, but your skills and talents which you want to it to be brought out, so that they can look at it from the point of, I have these gifts and talents which God has given me, and I can use it for my uplift of my life, and also from a point of looking at my goals which I want to be in life. So yes, it is important. Tunapitana nao na my youth wanakuwa wanaongea about it, na tunakuwa tuna encourage, tuna show, tunapia tuna walk through your story.
And for young ladies, Lorraine, young ladies who, you know, it's difficult for them to come up and speak about all these issues, how do you counsel them? How do you advise them?
The most important thing when dealing with young ladies is to work with them where they are. Whenever a lady approaches you, and whenever a lady approaches me and tells me about maybe a situation she's facing, I'll sit down with her, listen to how she's handling the issue, and to be able to give her the skills to be able to work through what she's going through. Because at the end of the day, I can give you advice, but if you don't have the skills, you won't be able to you won't be able to navigate other issues effectively. So I'll work with you. Yes, I'll talk to you. I will probably give you some tips, but I'll give you the skills. Yes.
The tweets already coming in thick and fast, guys. We've got Talam Collins all the way in Ravine in Baringo County. He says, Tanari Trust doing great mentorship that most youth need, and the future depends on us. Absolutely. How are you guys all over the country, Timothy? Are you spread across the country?
Yes, we are spread across the country, and I can say mostly the areas that we're working with now is we have Nairobi County, Kajiado County, Nakuru County. We also have Baringo County, who we have trained. We also have Mombasa, Makueni. We also engaged through the First Lady of Makueni program. We engaged with them, talking to their form ex-cans programs, which we deal with them. So we train young. Even within, those are the counties which I can just mention on top of my head, but we train people who in turn go out there to engage with young people, depending on where they're going. Even beyond our borders, we have an opportunity which we work with in Uganda, which we do, and also we are looking at even forward to even spread out the African continent. Wherever people are out there and they're engaged to a program, being trained, we want to tap into that opportunity and reach out to them, because even we have young people who have gone through our programs and they're giving back to our programs, and they're coming in as facilitator, coming in as how can they support, and those are ways of how we are engaging. Yes, so I can say in geographically that's how we are.
All right. I'm sure you guys never anticipated making it to your 20th anniversary. What are you planning for the future, Timothy? What would you say? What does the future look like for this country, for the youth of this country?
The future of this country is very bright, but most importantly, they need to be guided. I think that is the major thing. The guidance is the key thing now. How are we guiding these young people? Because our influences, which are totally traversed from different perspectives, and we're looking at, we need to kill some things. And we know from the point of, I grew up in a setup where my mother was Kamba and my father was Kamba. Now I am married to Kalenjin, and my kids will be waking up. I don't know whether I will be talking about Kao Kalenjin at the same time. The things will be changing. Things will be changing. So now you have to we say ama tunasema Kao Kale dialect. But those are the things that the guidance, we need to break some barriers, and those barriers which are part of the guidance process will be important. We need to demystify some myths that needs to get out of our way. We need to actively engage our youth from a positive youth perspective than the negative deficit model of always, if you want bad things to happen, always talk to the youth people. Watakusort hizo vitu mbaya, hao ndo wagondi, hao ndo wanawase. And that is what is the notion that we have about young people in our setup. But we demystify, break that, and guide them well. And guidance means a lot. Putting in training, putting in resources, putting in even the point of there's a civic aspect of engagement which is important. So the youth participation is very important, the youth voice is very important. There's a part of the employment aspect, there's a part of the health aspect, there's a point of even environment, there's a point of morals, character in our nation. So that is what I can say. So the future is bright, but the most importantly, let us step in for good guidance and good impartation for our young people so that we can turn around this country for them.
Absolutely. Well put, Timothy. Lorraine, parting shot, please. Parting shot to the youth, millions of whom are listening to you right now.
Okay, parting shot I would say is there's this notion out there that in order for you to make an impact in the society, you have to be old and have a lot of money. You can make an impact with whatever you have. You just need to look at what it is you have. Is it a skill on your hands? Is it a skill? Is it intellect? Is it something that is it a problem you're seeing that you can solve in the society? Just do it. Just go ahead and make that impact. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need to have reached a certain age. Just go and make an impact.
I love it. Just do it. Thank you, Lorraine. Hiya, Timothy. Ongea na mayouth man. Ongea na mayouth man.
Na mayouth, wacha nitoe hamo kidogo, wacha ninge kwa wase wangoso, wase wanaitanga mababi,
ongea nao watatu Kilimani, wako watatu tu. While you're at it, talk to the environment. Hawa watoto ambao unawalea wanarudi kwa wazazi ambao wamechoma. You know that's the problem. Unaweza tayarisha mtoto lakini akirudi home mzazi ni yule, environment ni ile. So talk to also to those parents.
Yes. I think first and foremost is that my youth require, you have a skill, you have a gift with you. The most important thing is that whatever you're going through now, and especially now, is most important that we have this aspect of, even during this COVID-19, is that we need to look for positive influence environments. That is number one. Please get into environments which are positively engaging you for better. Not looking at it from a status quo, not for things which are crazy, not for things which are pulling you down or taking you back. We need to look at it from that. So get into spaces, get into environments which are giving you positive impact. That is two. And then kwa wase wao hamwa nasema kwa hizo environments is the most importantly our parents.
Yes.
We need to be part of the influence. Let's take it positively. Let's not leave it out there and say watajipanga. For me, when I was growing up, I think after my parents did a very good job of guiding me, but kuna wale wana opportunity, maparo anaamka naishia wewe jipange.
Yes.
Kuja jioni tunalala, but let's be in that space. Let's engage our young people. Whether you're a guardian, whether you are a sibling who's older, let's take that space and let us transform and mentor our kids well. And then lastly ni wase wangu wase wangu huko wagetu na wase wangu pale tuko tu. Yani encouragement yangu ni kwa, hata kama tunaonanga vitu zinakaa noma. Hata kama sometimes tunaona vitu zingine haziwezi come through, lakini ni important ni kwa tunafaa ku come up, na community ni very important. Kitu moja nimelearn ni kwa there is power in unity, and most important, let's get wacha tuingie kwa maforum, not tuingie kwa tujijenga na vitu ambazo tunajua zinaweza tusaidia kimaisha. Tusianze kuingia kwa stories zingine ambazo zitatupeleka kama stories zingine hatuwezi zipanga. Kama sasa kuingia stories za drugs, kuingia stories zingine na vitu zingine ambazo zitatusaidia. Tunafaa kama kuna solutions zingine huko down, hata kama tuko huko hivyo down, tunafaa kuangalia vitu from a point of how tunaweza kamaje pamoja na tufanye vitu transformative. Tunaanza tu na mtaani hapo hivyo, maboy mnadunga nao hapo hivyo, mna kama kuna solution, ideas zinakamingia hapo hivyo, mkikaa chini kuna vitu. Implementation is very important. Najua sometimes doa iko, lakini kuanza hiyo step ni very important. Just get these opportunities, ongea na waseka Jeff hapa hivi anaweza kusupport haraka na vitu kama hizo. And those are the things which we can look at as an important thing. Let's get out there. Let's step out.
Your design.
Yes, your design.
Timothy, real quick, there's a listener here all the way from Pietermaritzburg, South Africa. Her name is Selina Rehema-Wakati, but she's originally from Mombasa. Once again, please give out the social media handles just so that they can get in touch. She wants people in Mombasa to get in touch.
All right. Our social media handle is Twitter is @TanariTrust, @TanariTrust. Facebook is the same, @TanariTrust. Our Snapchat is @TanariTrust1. And also Instagram is @TanariTrust. Our website is tanaritrust.org, tanaritrust.org. And our numbers, if you want to get in touch through WhatsApp, is +254 735 435 192. Let me repeat again. 254 735 435 192.
Excellent. So Lorraine Wangari, Timothy Matheka, happy birthday in 2 days, 19th birthday.
Oh, yeah.
And congratulations for all the work you guys are doing. You guys are really changing the attitudes of our youth. Thank you for your time, guys, and keep doing what you do, okay?
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you
so much.
This is no doubt what we call
candid interviews with decision makers.